Your dreams are bigger, bolder, and more badass than the life you're living now, but something just keeps getting in the way. Join certified coach and former therapist Diane Wingert for the Driven Woman podcast. She'll show you how to get rid of whatever is holding you back so you can stop spinning your wheels and up-level your life. Get ready to hop in and buckle up. This is the Driven Woman podcast, and we're heading for the fast lane.
Well, welcome back to My Driven Women. How are you enjoying these guest expert interviews? Aren't they amazing? And I have so many more for you. I have been reaching out to some incredible, very interesting women, and there are many more to come. So I'm going to keep the guest expert interviews coming. I will continue to bring you client success stories, and I have a few other surprises up my sleeve. As promised, each episode I will be reading one of my pod praise reviews. This one comes from a lovely businesswoman that I met on Instagram, Anika. Her business is Business Chick CEO, or Cheek or Chic. Sorry, Anika, who says, I resurrected my iTunes account just to write this review. I typically stream podcasts directly from my Echo in my home or my home office. To my pleasure this morning while showering and washing my hair, I needed something a little more motivating but short. So I said, Alexa, play the Driven Woman podcast, and the rest is history. I love how short these episodes are. I don't feel like I have to commit a chunk of time of my day to get value. Very happy to find you, Diane. Well, Anika, I'm so glad that you are part of the Driven Woman posse and you are enjoying these episodes. I gotta warn you though, if you just want me to hop in the shower with you, so to speak, you're gonna have a solo episode like today. The interviews have to be longer because I would be seriously cheating you if I cut those off at 15 minutes. So today is a solo episode, and the topic is happiness is 50-50. Now, what I've discovered is that a lot of suffering in life can be eliminated if only we would accept the fact that we shouldn't expect to be happy all the time. In fact, I like to think of it this way. We should expect to be happy, satisfied, fulfilled, joyful, all the stuff on the plus side of the scale, about 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, we should expect to be disappointed, depressed, discouraged. I like to think of a few more D words, but basically on the negative side of the scale. So half plus, half minus, half thumbs up, half thumbs down. The way I think about it is there's really only two basic reasons why people are unhappy in life. Either they don't get what they want, or they get what they don't want. I mean, think about it. The cute guy you had a crush on in high school didn't even know you were alive. Later on, you didn't get the promotion you deserved either. Or you have a third son when you were really hoping for a daughter. You can't seem to reach your goal weight no matter what you do, or your house won't sell at the price you want. Whatever the issue, you're not getting what you want, and it makes you feel unhappy. The other side of the coin is the things that happen that you didn't want to happen, like the car accident, the chronic illness, the pink slip, the divorce, the traumas and dramas, large and small. They all cause a lot of fear, sadness, anger, hurt, sending countless people to a therapist, pastor, coach, best friend, or bartender to share their story and their suffering. But, just imagine if you actually always got what you wanted and you never got anything you didn't want, nothing bad ever happened to you, and you're every wish was granted as though you had your very own fairy godmother on speed dial. I bet you think that life would be just great and that you'd have absolutely no reason to be unhappy anymore. It would be better than winning the lottery, marrying your soulmate, and being so damn healthy that even the common cold can't touch you. But believe it or not, we humans, we just turn out to be a little more complicated than that. I mean, we may think we want a life of pleasure, comfort, and security, but most people who actually experience those conditions have more problems and are even more unhappy than the rest of us who think we want to trade places with them. Now, listen, I'm not saying that people need to be miserable for some strange reason or that we are all actually a bunch of closet masochists. There's a small number of people who do seem to enjoy being in pain, either physical or emotional, but they're in the minority. The rest of us, we just dream of an easier, more comfortable life with chunks of cash on hand that will allow us to satisfy our every wish and whim. What I know from having been a therapist for many years and a coach for the last 5 is human beings are very well known for fantasizing about things that aren't really good for us and don't actually make us any happier or more satisfied if we manage to get our hands on them. You know, the conditions that actually make us thrive come down to a pretty even split between what most people would call good and bad. A roughly equal number of sprained ankles and surprise parties. We seem to feel most content as humans when our good luck and our bad choices are just about even Steven. We need to smile and frown in about equal measure to actually be fulfilled. Now, it may not sound sexy, and I doubt that anyone would want to sign up to work with a life coach who promises, work with me and you'll get what you want half the time. But when you dig into the literature on the science, the neuroscience behind happiness, achievement, motivation, and personal growth, the numbers are in, my friends, and the numbers are 50-50. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's kind of a sorry, not sorry, because if you've actually had more than half the day turn out the way you want, then you need some balance. I want to tell you a story. When I got remarried a few years back, after about a decade as a single mom of 3 kids, I decided to be my own wedding planner. How hard could it be, right? I'd been married before, so I could do it. Plus, I was kind of cheap and I didn't want to spend the money. So I had a 2-inch binder with tabs and every little detail was carefully planned and cataloged in there. Now, I am honestly not the world's best planner, truly. So I thought it was quite the achievement that I even decided to take on such a task all by myself. And I was honestly looking forward to not only a lovely celebration, but the praise of friends and family who knew that I pulled it off without help. I had several people offer to take on various tasks, but I was committed to doing it myself and to rising to the challenge of doing it well. Well, on the day of, several incidents occurred that were, let's just say, not in the binder. The ring bearer was my then 1-year-old Chihuahua, Frida. She was outfitted in an adorable custom-made dress with a little Velcro pillow on her back, to which our rings were tied with ribbons. So she was our ring bearer. Now, Frida has always been a garbage can, and she ended up scarfing something off the ground and later barfed up on the corner of my mermaid-style strapless wedding gown. Guests began to speculate that I was a no-show to my own wedding when I failed to appear at the altar after several minutes because the string trio wasn't playing the right song, and I was waiting to hear the one that I had asked for. And when I didn't hear it, I kept waiting and drinking champagne. Listen, it was still a fabulous day, and honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. But wouldn't you know, it was the barfing dog and my very delayed appearance at the altar that people bring up every time our wedding is mentioned all these many years later. Not the gorgeous venue, not the meaningful Buddhist vows, not the vintage car we took off in after the ceremony. Nope, the barfing dog and the almost no-show bride. Sometimes when we don't get what we want and we get something else instead, it not only makes life more memorable, it actually makes it more interesting. When someone asks about my childhood, I truly don't remember that much. But the unexpected, the traumatic, and the surprising, those are the things that come to mind. Tony Robbins has famously said, and I quote only this from him, "Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you." Once I really got my mind wrapped around that, I could start experimenting with changing my mindset about what actually constitutes a good day or a bad day, a good decision or a bad one, a life well lived and a wasted life. It might not seem like a big deal to you, but this one mental shift has made such a difference in how I live my life and how much enjoyment and satisfaction I experience in it. Tony Robbins is not the only one who teaches this philosophy. I did my coach training at the Life Coach School with Master Coach Instructor Brooke Castillo. Brooke taught me to think, nothing ever goes wrong. And she also taught me how to guide my mind towards resiliency by asking myself, what's perfect about this whenever something happened that my mind is dying to label as negative? After practicing to think this way for several years, I was able to help my daughter when she broke her wrist and immediately started projecting, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to have to give up my apartment, oh my God, I might even have to move back home with mom. So when she called me to tell me about her accident, she was absolutely freaking out. I listened and I made some reassuring comments in, the motherly fashion. And then I remembered Brooke's powerful question. And I thought, well, she's still freaking out. So what I'm saying is not helping. I wonder if this will. Marissa was carrying on quite a bit and I interrupted her and asked, honey, what's perfect about this? Absolute silence for about 30 seconds. I honestly was afraid I had pissed her off and she hung up, but she was shocked into silence. She had stopped crying and I half expected her to chew me out for being so insensitive, but instead she started calmly listing all the positive consequences of her broken wrist, including the fact that she didn't really like the particular job she was at and she had been seriously thinking about going to grad school. Her boyfriend had also recently invited her to move in with him, and she was considering the offer. I am 100% certain that my question was a pattern interrupt, put the brakes on her fear, and replaced it with creative problem solving. I'm also certain she would have eventually figured it out on her own. The question just made it happen a lot sooner. Sometimes I wish my early life had been different. I used to think I would have been happier and had fewer struggles if only I had not been adopted or abused. If I didn't have a learning disability or ADHD, I was really quite convinced for quite a lot of years that those factors made my life more difficult than it needed to be, and they were also the reason why I had depression and low self-esteem. It took me quite some time to encounter the personal growth industry, and Eventually, I learned that I could change the way I feel by shifting my thoughts. Both my thoughts about the present, what I'm actually going through now, but also about the past. I can now truly say I am grateful for everything that has ever happened in my life, because all the experiences that I've been through have made me the person that I am. And I like her. I didn't need to change my life. I also didn't need to wish it was different in order to be happy. I just needed to change the way I thought about it. So if you happen to be nearby, when I get a parking ticket or step into dog poop without seeing it, I'm pretty sure I won't be swearing or feeling sorry for myself, and I definitely won't let it ruin my day. In fact, you might even hear me laughing. Hey, I hope you're enjoying listening to the Driven Woman podcast and looking forward to each new episode every Tuesday. Are you ready to take our relationship to the next level? Visit my website at dianewingertcoaching.com. I have a weekly blog. There's a quiz you can take to find out what your ADHD signature strength is, and some other freebies like the 6 Steps to ADHD Mastery or the Driven Woman Roadmap Fast Track to Success. And if you're ready to get serious about going from spinning to winning and taking yourself from driven but distracted to focused, fired up, and flame retardant, you should definitely sign up for a free consultation. We'll spend 30 minutes talking about where you are, where you want to be, and whatever's getting in the way. I won't try to sell you if you're not right for coaching and I'm not the right one for you. But if you are, this might be the best way to make 2021 your best year ever. Want to hear from someone who's actually worked with me? Have a listen to my client, Rachel.
I didn't have you helping me along the way to understand a lot of this stuff, the meds would have been a waste for me, a complete and total waste. I would have had a little bit more energy maybe, but still the habits, whatever. There's no magic pill. It's always going to be something I'm going to have to work on. And I am understanding that and being okay with that and just kind of working through that and thinking and being intentional and stopping myself and doing all of the things for the first time in my life. I'm going to tell you right now, the meds have allowed me to slow stuff down enough that I've never been this effective at anything cognitive ever in my life. But I've also never had it explained to me by somebody who understands what's going on in my head either.
You've been listening to the Driven Woman podcast with Diane Wingert. Want more straight talk and strategy each week that will take you from spinning to winning? Don't forget to hit subscribe in your podcast player so you won't miss a single episode. Then head on over to the Driven Woman free and private Facebook group community. See you there.